What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com. How are you? I'm your favorite blind film critic. And I'm still going through Black Mirror. This is season 4, episode 1. I'm told this is the one. This is the one I've been told is the one. This is the Neo of the Black Mirror episodes. U.S.S. Callister. My first time through on this. I would love a Trekkie's perspective on this. Okay, so it's actually got a really good cast for this episode. There were a couple people I recognized. We got Jesse Plemons, Kristen Milioti, Michaela Cole, Jimmy Simpson. So what is it? What is this? What is this nonsense? So we're shown in sort of what felt very, I didn't know what this was. I love blissfully walking through all of the Black Mirror episodes. By the way, they all have audio description on Netflix, so please watch with audio description. And I love blissfully walking into Black Mirror episodes like, I don't know what this is. Nobody's spoiled Black Mirror for me. This is all great. They've just, like, I hear names of episodes, and U.S.S. Callister is always the one where people are like, oh my god. It's a little long, but it's not the longest episode. It's like an hour 15. So, it's feature length. So, they could have put this in theaters if they wanted to. The Black Mirror movie, U.S.S. Callister. So Jesse Plemons plays, I'm never going to remember anybody's name from these movies. I'm just going to keep calling them by the actors. He plays a guy who's this great coder, developer, whatever. At the beginning, we see this like old sci-fi-ish series. It feels very Star Trek-y. And then he goes to work, and it presents itself at the beginning as he has this like VR game that he plays, and he just like and then you cut the description of him is that he's got kind of a messy hair. He's not quite the hero that he is in the video game. You know, he's like kind of your typical computer nerd. You know, not quite as handsome or whatever, as suave as he imagines himself to be. But he has this office, and he's a legendary coder. There's this new girl that starts working there, played by Milioti, who just is gushing over just being in his presence, not because she thinks he's cute, but because he's this legendary coder. And maybe she gushes a little bit too much. There are other co-workers and stuff mulling about the office. And we see him be super creepy, and he runs and gets her like DNA, and he takes it home and puts it in the machine, like to create. You don't necessarily really know what it is that he's doing, but he's creating some sort of a copy of her. And then we fast forward to the copy. You know, it finally happens. And it loads onto the bridge of this fake U.S.S. Callister. But it's a fully realized clone of her. So like it has memories of the swab. I don't know that entirely makes sense, that you can swab a little bit of DNA and that memories come along with it, but we'll go with it. I'm on the Black Mirror train here. We're going with, I don't know how he got the memories, but for everybody who's praised this episode as being the Jesus of the episodes, did you ever stop to ask yourself, how did he get the memories? Why does everyone remember who they were? The clone thing makes sense, that he would have these clones of these people he'd met. It doesn't make sense that they retain memory. That doesn't make any sense. Nevertheless, we shall persist. I think I've just shit on people's dreams, and they're gonna hop down in the comments now and be like, fuck you, man, unsubscribe. It's my favorite episode. You just ruined it for me because now that's all I can think about. Yeah, well, that's all I can think about too. And it happened. I was like, why does she have memory? It's just a swab. Anyway, so, make sure you clean yourself well because your dusty skin may have memories in it. Who knows what people may be able to do with that. Oh God, I have to move on. She gets into the thing and she's freaking out, and everybody's like in costume and in character, and she thinks she's supposed to be at work, and has no idea where she is, and they're like, no, this is what this is, and they're trying to get some information about her, about like what time, like what year, how long has it been, all those kind of things, because they're all clones of somebody that he's worked with too. And he imports people and just uses them in this virtual reality thing of his. So eventually he logs in, and yeah, he's not a great captain. We do see him sort of like choking out somebody, and of course he's the guy that has to like kiss all the female crew members. One of those. He's a lech. Jesse Plemons has to play a lech in this one. But yeah, Milioti is freaking out. But he has all the control. And at some point he, because she's just code. So he reminds her that she won't die, but he like removes her face so she has no eyes, nose, or mouth. And so she's just like choking and can't breathe. And maybe she had eyes, I don't know. But yeah, she's just that's how he gets people to submit. And so she quote submits, and then I think the pizza guy comes. I think that's where the pizza guy comes, and then they try to tell her to just this is what we have to do. You just have to play along. And she's over at like a terminal trying to like pretend to be like a person on this ship with by the way, like there's no manual. These people used to work in an office, and so they're all like suddenly forced into like improv, whether they're good at it or not. It's so weird. It makes more sense that he would clone them and then program them to be these people, so that he would pick up through life, all of his virtual reality people would be these people that he'd encountered throughout life. That makes sense. I get that. I don't know why they're retaining their memories. It would be easier because now the premise is the fact that he picks up all of these people and they're all like just normal employees from his office, and now they're doing like improv comedy. Like, time to pretend to be on a sci-fi show, I guess. Bloop, 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 bloop. Captain, the Venerians are attacking from the planet Narb. If you have nothing to go off of, how do you even know the lore? Like, how does he expect everybody to know the lore? Like, if I was suddenly put on this ship as me, I'd be like, are we going to warp? The Death Star's up ahead. I know I'm pissing people off. They're like, this is the best episode of Black Mirror. I was like, it's fun. It is fun. It asks some really important questions, and it's got some fun things to it. But like a lot of Black Mirror episodes, it's like, if you would just tweak this one thing, I think the episode would make more sense. But anyway, so he keeps coming back, and of course she has to figure out and try to outsmart him. Turns out because she retains her knowledge, she retains her ability to code, and there's a way for using these terminals to be able to code, and there's an update. So they use the update, and they realize that if they can get through the black hole of the update, while it's not going to shoot them into the real world, but it will delete their code. So they won't be, or at least that's what they surmise. So Um, yeah, they have to try to get through this black hole thing before the update has collapsed, or vortex or whatever. So they come up with a plan to get this little handheld device that he uses to control everything away from him, so that they can control what they need. And she keeps trying to get her real self. She ends up blackmailing herself using racy photos, which is kind of funny. And because they're worried that if he still has their DNA, that they can just continue to be put in there. The problem with that is, and here's the hot problem, because they don't know that they're essentially going to kill him by the end of this. He's dead at the end of this. Not essentially, he is dead. He dies. So they have Kristen Milioti take all the DNA samples. The problem is all these freaking people still work at his company. He can just go back in and do all these swabs again and get all these people back in. And yeah, it wouldn't be the same clone, but he can just go back and recruit. So it's not like they've communicated to all of their real selves like what's going on. They haven't really alerted the real world to, hey, this is what this guy does. FYI. Luckily he dies, so it becomes sort of a moot point, but I was thinking, what's going to stop him from getting a new DNA swab? He seems to just he just reaches into the trash and grabs like a coffee cup and he's good to go. So, if you still work at the company, you're fucked. So, all he has to do is get that one dude to bring his kid back, because there's that horrible story about how Jimmy, I think it's Jimmy Simpson's character, that he was the first one that was uploaded, and to get him to submit, he cloned the kid, the guy's kid, and then shot him out of an airlock, and he had to watch his kid die in space. And because he retains all of the emotions and memory and everything, it was like a horrific experience for him. And he's like, I still have the DNA, so I can do that anytime I want. He can just get the guy to bring his son by the office again. Anyway, so, but it all works out in the end. They get out, and then they're in like some sort of, I don't know, like free space. So like they don't get deleted, and then they're I don't know, actual space people now. There's a sequel to this in season 7. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be great. I'm sure it's what happened next with the Callister crew as they go on another mission. U.S.S. Callister, the Wrath of Khan. Yeah, this episode is fine. I don't think it's the best episode. I think I've had some other ones that have definitely challenged me more, have asked some bigger, more important questions, and have landed the finale a little bit better than this. But yeah, this was entertaining, and it was fun to sort of watch them. And like I said, I wonder how like Trekkies reacted to this, because I think Trekkies at the beginning, when they didn't know what it was, were like, oh my God, could you imagine a VR headset game where we're like on the Enterprise and we're commanding? That would be amazing. And then like the horrifying reality is, those aren't like virtual, those are clone characters. So I'd have to go get DNA swabs of people and trap their souls into this video game. So like I've done with other Black Mirror episodes, I go, could this really happen? I suppose parts of it. I think the VR part of it, sure. I think that's where we're headed. I think we're like the next step for video games is going to be something like that's more immersive, because we're kind of trending away from like consoles and more into, now that we have these headsets, even though things like Apple's $5,000 headset, I don't think it's flying off the shelves. But as they become more and more well known, it's not like that's the only headset on the box. Like, we're trying to do this VR thing, and it's not like when Nintendo tried to do the old little thing where you looked through the the red, what was that thing called? Anyway, and it gave everybody like eye strain or whatever. It's not like that. Virtua Boy? Is that what it was? I don't know. I can't remember. I was around in that time period too, and I can't remember. Not like that. So, yeah, I think we're headed in this route. So I could see a video game like this existing, but I think they would be characters in the video game. I think they're always going to be NPCs. The ability to upload and custom characters. Yeah, I mean, we have that AI. I mean, we have people who are like scanning people's heads and putting them in porn. So, do I think that somebody clever could come up with a way of scanning? It will never be their memory. No, the way they do it in this is stupid. It's never going to happen. That's not a way to actually. You'd have to download somebody's memory. We'd have to figure out how to do that. So you can't just cotton swab a coffee cup and then suddenly get all of that person's entire memory system. That technology is never coming, ever, because that's not how DNA works. So, um, so yeah, I think parts of this would work. Would I do it? Yeah, I would love to play the video game except I'm blind. So, you'd have to figure out how to give me the ability to play a virtual reality video game. I think there's a way, especially the way that he taps into it, because he has like a chip on the side of his brain. So sort of like blindness is through our eyes, right? So if you can find a way to circumnavigate that process and send a signal from the chip to the brain, you could like we could see, quote unquote, see, because the images would be transported directly to the brain from the chip, not using our eyes. So if that's the way that he's doing it, then theoretically we could play the video game the same way as anybody else because you've gone around the eyes. So I guess, yes, I guess that's possible. If I'm interpreting how he is doing it. Although, as has been shown through some other sci-fi stuff, I don't want anything in my brain that can be hacked. So yeah, I no. Uh, there was a Black Mirror episode a while ago where they all had like a chip in their head, and it could be, it was the Man Against Fire. Is that what the name of the episode was? It's the episode about genocide. And that episode, they have that stuff in their head and it can be hacked. And you see the guy, and the images that he sees are not the images of reality. No, I don't want that. I'll take other sort of alterations, but anything that would allow somebody to just hack my brain and take it over and manipulate what I see and hear and all that kind of stuff. Nah, it's not worth it. Whatever you're promising me is not worth it. So, but yeah, I would do it. And to scan people that I know into a video game, yeah, but I'm not as clones. Not in the horrible way that this is. I don't want them in there as that. So, in a less creepy way, sure. Because if you think about it, it's a way to play with people that you want to play with. It's a way to play with people who are no longer around anymore. So, it's a way for, yeah, I don't know, like a son to continue to play with his father after they die. Like those kind of things. Like there is so much possibility in just the idea of scanning somebody and creating like a virtual clone of them, but that clone cannot possibly retain the memories. So unless we develop a completely different scan, and then that person would have to allow themselves to be scanned into the thing. I guess there's possibility here, but you got to just be way less creepier. And I wouldn't want to let somebody scan me without knowing what they were using me for. I'd be like, "You're using this for porn? What are you? What do you? Why do you need this?" I would be so much trepidation in there, in giving somebody the power to have my clone in there. So, It's an interesting episode to talk about. It's an interesting like think piece. Um, I enjoyed it. I know I kind of made fun of it, but most of it's like really good. And if you, it's like with everything, right? So we ask ourselves all this time to sort of, you hear people say like, turn your brain off or just, take the leap. If I just take the leap and take the everything at face value, it's entertaining. I'm not gonna say it's not. I like the episode, but as far as do I think it's the best, the most hard hitting episode that Black Mirror has made? No, I don't. I'm sorry. But it's very fun, and it's also not the worst episode. There are some other episodes that I would put below this, but this was interesting. I kept hearing about this episode, and I was waiting to get to U.S.S. Callister, and I got here, and I can see why people like it. I can see why people connect to it. It's also got a great cast, by the way. That cast is like fire. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give U.S.S. Callister a B plus. We're going with that. So let me know what you think in the comments. I feel like it's just gonna be a whole bunch of people yelling at me about how I didn't get it or whatever. That ruined their lives. Audio description was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. I mean, I followed it the whole way through and the little beats of everything, but sure, it was good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.